ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಸಂಘಗಳ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಪರಿಶೋಧನೆಯ ಒಂದು ದಿನದ ಸಮ್ಮೇಳನಕ್ಕೆ ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಹಾರ್ದಿಕ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ಮಹಾತ್ಮ ಗಾಂಧಿಯವರು ಹೇಳಿದರು, ಸಹಕಾರಿ ತತ್ವವು ಆರ್ಥಿಕತೆಯ ವೃದ್ಧಿಗೆ ಹೆಬ್ಬಾಗಿಲು ಅಂತ. ಭಾರತ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಥಮ ಬಾರಿಗೆ ಸಹಕಾರಿ ಸಂಘಗಳ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆಯಾಗಿದ್ದು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಕಣಗಿರಹಾಳ ಗ್ರಾಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂಬುದು ಒಂದು ವಿಶೇಷ. 1905 8ನೇ ಮೇ ಅಂದು 12 ಜನರೊಂದಿಗೆ ಶ್ರೀ ಸಿದ್ದನಗೌಡ ಪಾಟೀಲ್ನವರು ಕಣಗಿರಹಾಳದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಥಮ ಸಹಕಾರಿ ಸಂಘವನ್ನು ಭಾರತ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡಿದರು. ಆ ಸಂಘ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಇಡೀ ಭಾರತ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕವು ಸಹಕಾರ ಸಂಘಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮಹಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಮತ್ತು ಗುಜರಾತ್ನೊಂದಿಗೆ ಸಮಬಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಯನ್ನು ಹೊಂದ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಯ ನಿರೀಕ್ಷೆ ಇಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು 2013ರಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಚಾರ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಅಕೌಂಟೆಂಟ್ಗಳಿಗೂ ಒಂದು ಈ ಆರ್ಥಿಕತೆಯ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಪರಿಶೋಧನೆಯನ್ನು ಅವಕಾಶವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟರು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರ. ಆದರೆ ಸಹಕಾರ ಇಲಾಖೆಯಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಸಹಕಾರದ ಬದಲಾಗಿ ಅಸಹಕಾರತೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಆದರೂ ಸಹ ನಮ್ಮ ಛಲ ಬಿಡದೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕೌಶಲ್ಯಾಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಗಳನ್ನು ಇನ್ನೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಇಲಾಖೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೊಂದು ಸದಾವಕಾಶ. ಇದರೊಂದಿಗೆ ಈ ಸಭೆಯನ್ನು ಇವಾಗ ಆರಂಭಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. We have with us the eminent Central Council member CA Madhukar N Hiregange sir, and the technical speaker of today's program Shri Umesh Bolmal. I request Bangalore Branch Chairman Shri Shravan Gurutur to escort both the resource persons and welcome with the applause.
Thank you.
I request Chairman Shravan Gurutur to deliver the welcome address.
A beautiful morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the seminar on cooperative societies. Well, cooperatives, as all of us know, play a pivotal role in our economy. Like the Secretary mentioned, it was in fact the 97th Amendment to the Constitution which was targeted at encouraging the economic activities of the cooperatives, which they identified as one of the key way to get the necessary progress in rural India. Also spoke about yet another important element, that is making audit of cooperative societies mandatory. The same amendment as per the Constitution has been adopted by the Karnataka Cooperative Societies Act, and auditors are required to be appointed through the process of empanelment. Well, there's a lot of onus on chartered accountants to contribute to do justice to the kind of responsibility that is entrusted on them, and hence the need for these kind of seminars. Frankly, after the 2013 amendment, each and every year the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India Bangalore branch has been conducting a seminar, and this is the 6th seminar on cooperative societies in this regard. Well, the seminar has been very aptly designed to answer a lot of questions like, what is the responsibility of the auditors? What are the changes in the reporting requirements? What we expect from the department and what the department expects from us as the auditors? What are the kind of issues, audit-related issues that we might face, be it pertaining to income tax or the related ICDS? What are the issues pertaining to GST? And of course, the first session would also talk about the kind of professional opportunities that cooperative societies give to the chartered accountants. Well, continuous knowledge updating is a must, and hence this seminar. I wish each and every one of you happy learning, and before I conclude, I would like to touch upon the future programs that Bangalore branch has organized for the benefit of members. The mega conference of the year 2018, the Karnataka state level conference, the 15th of its kind, is being organized on 15th and 16th of June. that is hardly 15 days from today. It is going to be in Nanajyoti Auditorium. It is branded as 360, Envision, Equip and Excel. We've already crossed about 400 registrations for this mega conference. I urge each and every member to kindly register. The program structure, the 2-day program structure has already been distributed to all the participants. Online registrations are available for all our programs, including the state level conference. There are a couple of initiatives that the Bangalore branch has taken starting this month, the month of May. All our programs are, apart from being live telecasted, are also telecasted on Facebook Live, including this program. Just at a click of a button on Facebook Live, you can see all our seminars. You just have to like our page, Bangalore ICAI, on Facebook, and you can view the videos from the comfort of your homes or offices. Another initiative is we have started a special series of meetings called as the Breakfast Series, which will be held on selected Saturdays. We have successfully completed already 2 Saturdays on 2 important topics. The first one was on amendments applicable for assessment year 18-19, which was taken by KL Prashant, and subsequently we had a session on the Companies Amendment Act 2017 by CA Madhukar. The next session, that is on the coming Saturday, that is day after tomorrow, is on yet another important topic: what are the general mistakes made in financial statements and what are the issues pertaining to Schedule 3 Companies Act. I request members to participate in this as well in huge numbers. I would like to on that note, I would like to thank the speakers for having readily accepted to participate and share their knowledge in this one-day seminar on cooperative audit. Due to unforeseen circumstances, CA Ravindranath Viri, because of his health situation, could not be a part of this session. We thankfully had Umesh Bolmal sir and Madhukar sir to pitch in and do justice to the topics. Apart from that, we have DR Venkatesh, who will be talking on income tax related issues, and Prateek Marlecha, who will be speaking on GST related matters pertaining to cooperative societies. I thank all the speakers once again for having agreed to share their knowledge on this seminar. Over to the Secretary. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. As Chairman mentioned, the first technical session will be held by it's a topic on overview of corporate audit and professional opportunities, and that also includes the special address by our Central Council member CA Madhukar N Hiregange sir, and with Umesh Bolmal sir. It is my privilege to introduce our Central Council member CA Madhukar N Hiregange sir. He passed a BCom FCA DISA, passed CISA. He is a senior partner in Hiregange and Associates, having office in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Gurgaon, Visakhapatnam, Mumbai and Pune. Jointly authored 16 books on Central Excise, Service Tax, Karnataka VAT and Excise, Service Tax Audit, IDT, IBC Study Material, Handbook on CST and GST Premium. Hiregange has been active in the field of spreading awareness through seminars and articles, has been visiting faculty at various professional and management institutes, including the IIM Bangalore, has been active in online replies at several professional sites. Was a Central Council member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India for the term 2010-13 and now for term 2016-19, with the vision to enhance the credibility of the profession, strengthen the professional in practice and employment, make the course less painful while increasing the quality of the student coming out. Involved in efforts to make the indirect tax laws in India simple, certain and fair, and creating an awareness of the potential of knowledge of indirect tax in India for professionals in employment and practice. Presently Chairman of IDT Committee of ICA. Is a Managing Trustee, Empower Education Foundation, sponsoring education of 100 plus lesser privileged students in Bangalore, believes in value-based practice and life. With this brief introduction, I present before you CA Madhukar N Hiregange. Welcome, sir. We have another speaker, and he is going to handle both the session partly in the first session and also second session. None other than CA Umesh Bolmal sir, all the way came from Belagavi. He passed his BCom final examination in 1972 in first rank to the Karnataka University, Dharwad. secured the highest number of marks in the BCom final examination. Won the state award as the best student of the Karnataka state in the year 1968 and also in the year 1972. Worked as the chairman of Belgaum branch of SRC of ICA for the year 1986-87. Elected to Southern India's Regional Council of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India for the term 1995-98. Elected as the Treasurer of Southern India Regional Council of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India for the year 95-96. He was nominated by Reserve Bank of India as a member of the Committee of RBI, which monitors the working of cooperative banks in Karnataka. Presented technical papers in various seminars organized by SRC Bangalore branch, Mangalore branch, Udupi, Ballari, Hubli, and many CBA chapters of Karnataka. With this brief introduction, I present before you CA Umesh Burma sir. Welcome, sir. I request the dignitaries on the dais and also managing committee members to join us for inaugurating the seminar with lighting the lamp.
Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, I planned to speak after Ravindranath so that I could. Actually, my session was supposed to follow his. Since he is not there, I'll have to improvise a little. I asked Sir Umesh ji to start. He said, "No, you finish and then I will take, because mine will take a lot of time." I was thinking of speaking in relation to the cooperative audit, how we can do better. That was my objective of coming, otherwise I would have come also. You are aware that I don't come for inauguration and all that in normal course, whether it's 5,000 or 550. I don't go anywhere for inauguration. Some of the thoughts which I had on our practice is that somewhere we have forgotten why we are here. Some of us. We are thinking that we are here to earn money. But actually that is not the reason. If we were there to earn money, we would have been in business. And probably would have done much better also. We could have done much better. No restriction, nobody telling you what you can do, what you cannot do. It depended on your entrepreneurial skills and whatever business you do. So I think the difference between the business and the profession nowadays is almost disappearing. Even when we speak, we talk about business development rather than service development. So how do successful practitioners look at this differently? Most of the successful practitioners first ensure that they have a good knowledge of the law, provisions, the area they are doing, maybe audit skills. If we are looking at cooperative audit, certainly audit skills is very important. Do we know audit skills? Do we know the applicable standards? Do we bother about linking what we do based on the fee? Are we getting restrained by the dates which are being provided by the management? In the sense that they say that this audit should be completed by say 15th of May. You have been appointed only in April, and when you try to find out from them, are they ready? They are not ready. Finally, they are ready on 11th of May, and then they say 15th of May you have to finish, otherwise next year we will blacklist you, or they don't say that, but you feel it. How are we constrained by all this? Why should we be constrained by all this? Is a question which I ask because I find many of the, you can say, improvable practices which we can have are all dependent on us, not on the external world. Nobody forces anybody to take up a cooperative audit. Once you agree to take at whatever the fee, you may complain that the fee is inadequate, then don't do it now. Sit at home, do something else, no issues. You can learn some new skills. There is enough of opportunity on the net itself. You don't have to leave your house, you can earn more than what you earn in cooperative audit, if you are interested. So somewhere we have, I think we have to rededicate ourselves into this service outlook. One more aspect we have forgotten in profession is that we should remember whom we are serving. And I think one of the introspection which we require when if we are planning to do work in this cooperative sector is, what is the advantage of audit in cooperative sector or services in cooperative sector to various segments of society? What is the advantage to the nation? Today, cooperative sector has become only political lending. Lot of money is collected from lot of people, then the powerful fellows take the money. Or they take the money for political reasons. That is, their monies are dispersed for political reasons. This is also one of the low side of cooperatives is what I understood. So this is what is happening. If we were vigilant, if we were reporting, could it have happened? It cannot happen. You look at the provisioning this year of all the banks. After whatever happened, so many bank issues came, we were all targeted. PNB was the last. Luckily in PNB what had happened is, auditors had done their job. What was the job? Did they qualify something which came out of rocket science? No. It was our guidance note. Small green book we have, bank guidance note. If you go to discounting of bills, within that the nostro accounts also are covered in I think 11 or 12 serial number. Where it says clearly that if there is a nostro account which is of a foreign respondent bank, you have to say whether it has been recorded in the books or not. That's all. Sir, how can I verify? I don't know SWIFT, they are not giving information, nothing is required. Has it been recorded in the books or not? That is the only question you have to put. If it has been recorded, next comes reconciliation. In this PNB, it was not recorded at all. Not only in PNB, in SBI and many other big banks also, it was not recorded. But that did come out, because it might not have led to some crisis which opened it up. It will also be there in many other banks, what I understood. 7 banks, I understand, had similar problems what was there in PNB. Maybe not to that extent. This is what I heard. Maybe right, maybe wrong. But what happened is, the chartered accountants in this particular PNB scam came out as primarily not responsible because out of 7 years, there are many auditors, please remember. Many of us are doing. I will be doing along with Shravan and Umesh ji and Ravindra, I will be doing one statutory audit of a bank. Four of us are there. But among us, 4 into 7, at least 4 people had said that it's not recorded. And therefore, institute got away. But I look at a bigger thing. What about those 24 others who didn't? What they have to do? They have to again see the same checklist, give the same qualification, but they did not. Luckily, these 4 people did. So instead of blaming the chartered accountant, it went to RBI because RBI was supposed to do a review of all these branches, and they did not do at all in this period. Because RBI didn't do, so instead of chartered accountants, the gun was trained on RBI. That's all. So we got away. But were we negligent, if you ask me? The vast proportion of our chartered accountants who were involved in PNB were negligent. And is it that they will get away? Sorry. All of them have got notices. Everybody has got a notice. So what they have done or not done will be very easy. If Shravan has done a wonderful job and I have gone there and checked only 50% of what he has done, obviously I am going to get into disciplinary proceedings. This is what will happen. So I think that first we have to see what is the purpose of our audit to the nation. Co-operative is a wonderful method, isn't it? If you look at the concept of cooperative, wonderful concept where people get together to help themselves. Unfortunately, instead of helping themselves, they end up helping the people with money and the politicians. So, should we not see what are the advantages for the cooperatives? What are the advantages for the nation? What are the advantages for the cooperative movement? What is the advantage for the member who is putting his money into these cooperative banks or others? What about the financial health? Because micro lending is very important to make India grow. We have 40% still below poverty line, and therefore they should get access to funds. Are they getting access, or all the big guys getting access? We are seeing this regularly in the paper. Even today's first headline in any of the economic things is ICICI gives some 5,250 crores to Videocon on a quid pro quo basis. Whether true or not, we don't know. But the point is that large amounts of money are given because those large people manipulate. They can pay a small percentage and compromise those officers in the bank, managers, etc. But we are there now as a check. Why we are not reporting this? If it is in order, nothing to report. If not in order, we should report it. And we have. We have been doing this year. I think if you see all the reports which have come, Indian Overseas Bank today says total quarterly income 5,000 something crores and provision 3,000 something crores. That means our people now have become vigilant. I don't know whether 100 have become vigilant or it is 90, but at least a good thing. If we start working like that, then they will depend on us and then we can get much more. It will be a pride for the profession of chartered accountancy, which lately is getting slack because of increasing number of chartered accountants compromising. Since all of you are chartered accountants, I am saying this. If I am saying to department, I will say there are few black sheep in our profession, and that's all I will say, right? Or maybe a little more than few. Beyond that, I won't say. Here, you and me know 10 years back what was the level of negligence and level of our professionalism and what it is now. You will find negligence has gone up. Reasons may be there. My fee is not there. Bank doesn't give me time. Cooperative bank, they are not there. They don't keep their accounts at all. My clients are coming at last moment. Who's asking? Who's forcing you to do those works? None of them. Nobody is forcing you. We are doing it voluntarily. So I think pride for the profession is something. And of course, finally we are also earning well. Chartered accountants are nowhere with beggars. They don't have, there is no unemployment in chartered accountants. And it is respectful earning. So if you look at it, there are so many advantages to us. Then why are we compromising? Why are we looking at excuses? Let me see what, as I said, I started with the caveat that this presentation was supposed to be after Ravindranath's presentation. But anyway, I will take it forward after these initial remarks. If I look at the objectives of audit, all of you know this. Sometimes we are looking at only doing statutory compliance. But can we look beyond that? If I am going for a cooperative audit, can I give them some advice on something else? There is a scope for that. No? There may be others. In LFAR you have other points. You can always look at the entity as somebody who can benefit by your experience and your exposure to the best practices. So why can't we do that? Give them a 2-page report to the management that these are the things to improve your cooperative functioning. Other than your compliance, your main job is compliance. The value addition is incidental. But compliance itself, when you are doing the compliance, why are you not adding that one para? Some of you may be doing it. I am saying make it a practice wherever you go that you have to add value. Value does not mean reduction. For example, if I am doing an excise audit or a GST audit, does not mean I give a way by which he reduces his GST liability with taking some risk. That is not good value addition. What is value addition is, even if he is liable, you bring it up to him and tell him that this particular aspect mostly will go against you and you will end up paying penalty and interest, and therefore it will eat into your margin. Be careful about this. Provide for it. Talk to the customer. It's an indirect tax. He can take credit. Ensure that you charge rather than avoid. This would be a value addition. In spite of the fact that you are telling him to pay 5 lakhs extra in that particular cooperative society or that bank, it is a value addition for the bank because they avoid future litigation. So the objective of the audit should also be that we have to be safe and professional, and we also should do it in a profitable manner. We can't do it without profit because then we can't have a good quality assistants, we can't train. In fact, I was just talking to him earlier, how many of us train our assistants? At least 3 hours a week. Are we doing it? If we don't train our assistants, then they give us bad work and we blame them. Oh, they are only interested in exam. See, giving excuses or blaming somebody is very easy way of shirking our responsibility. Very clearly, I have understood. Whenever something fails in our office, I look at where I fail. I may be sitting in Delhi for 20% of the time, traveling around for 20% of the time. But when something fails in my office, first thing I look at is where Madhukar N Hiregange failed for that whatever happened. And invariably, let me tell you, within 5-10 minutes, I am able to make out where I failed. Forget about the rest. There will be many other people who could also be responsible, but where am I responsible if I see? I don't think there has been even one instance of failure in my office of quality, delivery, whatever, where I am not responsible. I am responsible to some extent. I should have done something which I did not do. And are we profitable? Immensely. But were we profitable throughout our practice? No. In the first 10 years of our practice, we were not even having a car. First 10 years of practice. Only after that, somewhere maybe around
10 years, sir?
Pardon?
10 years?
I think for me it was 8 years, but I had some constraints at which time I was forced to buy a car. My wife had passed away, I had to take care of my son, so I bought a second-hand car, and somebody else funded it. But it does take, it can take 7-8 years. Now it may be faster. In the time when I started, it was the 80s, late 80s, I'm sure Umesh ji will agree, at that time the fees were not anyway very great. But we have to earn also. But what happens is what you have done there, as long as you know that you are going to earn in future, it doesn't matter. Whatever you are doing. So what could be the steps for a cooperative audit? Again, you have to give me some leeway since there was a presentation supposed to be before this. So I think first thing we have to know is what is the cooperative movement in India? What are the specific issues which are there in India? What is it in Karnataka? Karnataka can have some more specific issues. What are the problems faced by them? I am not talking about audit part. I am just talking about understanding where is the pain area, what are the problem areas. If we focus on this, within a very short time, cooperative audits in India can become a very powerful tool to change India itself. For example, till today I am surprised there are so many authors, so many people are there, but we don't have any change to the Central Cooperative Act. If we make a change in the Central Cooperative Act, all the cooperative acts are going to change. But we have not done it for whatever reason. Second thing, I think we have to, once we have understood what cooperatives are and how they are in Karnataka, maybe we have to be totally updated with the circulars, notifications, etc. applicable to it. Many times we say if you find it, we'll see it. That's not the best way of doing it. When we studied for CA, did we start the studies when we went to the exam hall? No. We started 3 months back. At least for these 2 days, 3 days back, go through all the circulars. You can make a small checklist of the latest issues which can come up, what were not there last time. If you already have an audit program, very good. Otherwise, if there's an old audit program, enhance it, add your points there. Guidance as per previous speaker I have put, so I will say the next speaker, Umesh ji, will talk about it. Next, very important aspect is that adequate fees quoted. I am hearing so many complaints. When I go to a rural area, they say your Bangalore auditors are quoting, you can't believe, for 25 branches they are quoting 15,000, 25,000. They are quoting so low. Now, where is there a need for us to quote so low? Actually, there is always enough work in the market. Any area, whether it's cooperatives or otherwise. You just go, you just think. Servants in Bangalore. I am taking servants compared to chartered accountants. You go to any big complex. No servant will come to your house below 2,000 rupees. The moment you say A, B, C, the moment you add D, 2,500. You add E, 3,000 per month. I am talking about servant. The servant may be working in 3 or 4 places. They are insisting and you can't bargain with them. What about taxi drivers? Are they reducing the amount? They may increase. If it's raining, there are no taxis. They are increasing the fee. Are they reducing? When these people can get together and not charge the less, how are we doing this? So we are undercutting each other. Umesh ji has quoted 20,000 to that cooperative, and I go and say, I know Umesh ji is very experienced person, but he is very busy. He may not be able to spend that much time. I can spend more time. And I will give you 2,000 rupees discount also. Do you think the bank which is getting it done by him will come to me? No. They will call him up and say, this Madhukar N Hiregange is there, 18,000. And he will give some choice curses to me. Yeah, Ishtodu Gadi alla tagondu Central Council member bandi children kelsa martane. But he will agree for 18,000. Why should he lose the client? He already had done the work. He knows the client. I have to come understand the client and do. Unfortunately, both of us may not get, because there will be somebody else who says 5,000 rupees will do it. Now 5,000. Neither he nor me will do. So there we lose the audit and somebody else gets it. But does he do the work properly? You quote whatever fee you want, but do the work properly. They will say 5,000 I am quoting, so I can't spend more than 2 days. There is where the problem comes. So I think quoting fees is very important. Let them not play with us. One of the other things I have heard, I think even in banks it started, is that we are now paying the authorities. So you want the statutory audit of a bank, you have to pay some, 25% or 50% of the fees. So 5 years you will get that statutory audit, or 3 years you will get it. I understand even in cooperatives this nonsense has started.
So many of the,
Pardon?
many of the public sector undertaking, they are issuing tenders for getting their specific assignments done, like TDS compliance, GST, regular income tax, on a monthly basis. They give a scope which will be more or less akin to a statutory audit, but the fees cannot be more than 10,000 per month. And they expect us to have a big firm with 2-3 partners, 5-6 experienced paid assistants and other infrastructure. And the maximum fee cannot exceed rupees 10,000 per month. This is what is mentioned in the tender document itself.
So don't advise that. If none of us, just like the servants, there may be one person in my apartment who wants to pay, in my apartment it is, I think it is 4,000 or 6,000 rupees for the servant. So none of them come 3,500. When they can not come for 3,500, how are we quoting less than 10,000 then? That is not applied, and we should make a public point of this also. Write a mail to the chairman, managing director, or the directors of this branch. Nowadays mail is cheap, right? You have to get the email ID and also mark it to cooperative, whatever, minister and cooperative authorities, saying that the scope you have given will take at least this many days. If I have to spend these many days, even if I am getting at worker level 400 rupees per day, even then it will not work out. So the minimum fee criteria which you have put of 10,000 should not be 10,000, it should be 50,000. This are we doing? We think, we discuss, we talk amongst ourselves. Where is the record I am asking? Can we not do it? It's so simple. I am not getting the audit anyway, I am not going to take that audit. Spend that 10 minutes and send one mail. Don't start blasting them. All corrupt fellows, no need. We know what they are doing. Just say what you want to say. That the fee is inadequate, the tender therefore should not be taken up, and you ensure that you CC it to enough people. For example, for the tender you think all of us 4 people are also going to apply, put us in CC. And mark the institute's disciplinary directorate also. How can any chartered accountant do this at 10,000? Now all of us are scared also. We don't know whether we should apply or not. Now that you have done so many things, you have written to the bank, all CC, you know how long it takes to put CC? 10 CCs? 1 minute it will take. Why don't you just do it? Just see that once you start this, automatically I think the climate will change. And it doesn't require 100 of us to do. 3, 4 of us do it, everybody will come, get set.
Well, in respect of cooperative, sir,
Yeah.
in respect of cooperative, there is no question of quoting the fees now. This fixed, sir.
Sir, I am saying, this is all our thought process, sir. If none of us go for that audit, will they not change the fees? They have to change the fees. They cannot say that do it for 500 rupees. We are the people. I am saying when servants can do it, why we can't do it? When taxi drivers can do it, why we can't do it? Are we so desperate to get that work? Older people also are responsible, older members, because everything is over, children are married and they have made enough, or they have got so many other sources of passive income. So older members should be even more careful. They should not say that, okay, we can afford to do it, our overheads are very low. They can say all this, but I think all of us have to be very careful about fees. If the fee is not adequate, immediately you should write to the management with copy to disciplinary directorate of the Institute of Chartered Accountants. I am saying just the way you can solve this problem. You don't have to, and what is the negative against you? Once you have marked all of us, we won't even talk to you, because I don't know what others will say. If I blame you, he may support you, Ravindra may support you, Shravan will support you. So I am not going to become the bad guy here. I will wait. Maybe this waiting is good because I won't apply, and your aspect, that particular audit, 10,000 is just not adequate, so they may change the fee. Another thing is being paying to get the work. I would say it's a terrible thing which we are doing. Some of us only do it, but then we do. It's a fact. So if we do not run after them, our respect will be intact at least. Do some other work. It's not that you don't have any other work, any other opportunity in CA. Hundreds of opportunities are there. Maybe you have to put a little effort, maybe you have to learn a little, something new. I think we should stop running after these authorities. In fact, even the 1st July, on record I told the President not to call any of the politicians. But he said it will be wonderful, you see the whole understanding about our profession will change, this, that. He had his own views. And the way it was done also was very bad. Unfortunately, the people behind it today have got elevated also. You know who I am talking about. They got elevated, though they sacrificed our profession for their getting into the good books of the PM. But if we had not run behind them, 1st July you would have been in Vigyan Bhavan, you would have called some dignitary, you would have talked something, and our, what you could say, our profession would not have been looked at the way it is looked. After 1st July, we have become jokes everywhere. Earlier you would go somewhere, you would say, I am a chartered accountant, people would look up to you. Now you are scared. You can say, I am a consultant or something, so avoid that word chartered accountant, otherwise they will start. What happened to that case? What happened to this case? Why you keep quiet? It is a noble profession, no doubt. And we only have made it not noble. And sometimes, even we, the elected members, they have their own dreams. Some of the elected members have come to go to Rajya Sabha. And we are voting them into power year after year. What are we doing? We have to introspect, of course. So maybe the standards which are there, some of us who are a little older, we don't know what are the standards which are there. How long it takes, sir? We are chartered account, we can learn anything. Why not put it into these weekly learning sessions and understand the standards? And why we can't exceed the expectation of the cooperatives? Okay, I take the audit at 10,000 per month. But I'll do such a wonderful job for them that they are forced to say, wonderful job you have done. I think next year you can make it 25,000. Even 25,000 may not be worth it, but the fact that they have increased it from 10 to 25 will be a moral victory. I think that is something which we can do. So why we should not pay? Code of conduct, if somebody is asking or you know that it is happening, why you can't write a mail? Anyway, you are not going to do it. You have decided, okay, I do court ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ now ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. Why don't you write a mail? Write a mail to the MD, all the directors of that cooperative. Again, mark a copy to disciplinary committee. Ministry also, cooperative ministry. Read and also send one on RPAD. Sometimes the written power of the written word is immense. This is what is happening, and that is why I am not participating in this. If you write to that authority itself, the fellow who is asking for the bribe, many people had asked me, how in indirect tax you can manage without paying bribes? My simple system was this: anybody who asked for bribe, I used to write a simple letter to you. I never used to say you are asking me for bribe. I used to say that what you are asking, I have provided 3 times I visited you. I used to visit. I have given all the documents and taken acknowledgement. Still you find some new things each time I come. I do not understand what exactly you want. If you want me to do something unprofessional, I cannot do it. Please let me know whether you are going to do it or not. And I mark it to his higher officer. This is all I have done in indirect tax. And we never had to pay a single paisa bribe to anybody. In 7 locations in India, we are in Gurugram, we are in Pune, we are in Vishakhapatnam, Hyderabad. When I went to Hyderabad, people said, okay, Bangalore is different. You come to Hyderabad, nothing, you close your office in 6 months. Today we are thinking of billing 4 crores this year without paying 1 rupee to anybody. So it is possible. I am just saying, please write, mail and RPAD. RPAD means it's like almost like a Brahmabana. Email also is there to see that it goes to everybody, where you say that I have sent this RPAD to this authority and I am also attaching that as an attachment to this. If I am paying, who stops you from reporting? Why are you not reporting against me? You are spoiling the profession if you are doing that. If you know I have paid money to get an audit, you say I suspect that Madhukar N Hiregange has paid money for getting this audit. Mark copy to me also. You are not saying I have paid. I don't have evidence, but I think he is paying money. It's enough for me. Next time, do you think I will go and pay? Maybe that time I would have paid already, nothing I can do. Next time, do you think I will go and pay? I will keep away. Better to be careful.
The other guy puts a libel slander case against us.
But will he put if he is paying? If he is doing it, then you will find, go after that, no? And what libel slander? Are you telling in public? No. You are writing to him only and copy to disciplinary directorate. Disciplinary directorate will say, on what evidence you have told Madhukar is doing this. You will say, this. How can we do the audit at 10,000 rupees when the total amount of time required for this is 12 days? Will he visit the thing? Will he do justice? Therefore, you may get the costing from him for the past years. Now they will ask me costing for all that. How you did this audit? They will come to know I have done audit sitting in my hotel room. Because there will be nothing other than that. Assistants are not there, nothing is there, I have just gone, signed everything and come back. Then it will be negligence. Why you want to prove? I am saying, I am not even getting into that point. I am saying you can be the deterrent for everybody. And it doesn't have to be done by many. I think in cooperatives, this is what is happening. Please do this and you will see 1 year down the line what will be the change. Market to Modi also, one copy. Whether he does or not, we don't know. See, if you look at other opportunities, emerging opportunities huge. I think even our chairman has been taking up so many. In fact, he had some analytics thing. I told him, give me the material. He said, there is no material. 3 days workshop he conducted, no material. I said, what type of workshop you did? He said, sir, everything was hands-on. You have to sit with a computer and the people would help you to use those analytical tools which you have got, Excel, advanced Excel. These are the ones I remember from my studies, not now. So I didn't attend the program, but I told him, then you send me the soft copy. There are so many greenfield areas. Shravan has been opening up. If you are not able to attend, as he said, go to the videos and you can get it there. Wherever there is a value add possible for our clients or anybody, we can enter. We should also see that others are not able to provide. If everybody is allowed to do, a BCom also can compete with us, then let's not get into that area. We will go only in exclusive areas where our skill knowledge is required. For example, GST. Last week I was in Delhi. The Deputy Commissioner who is in charge of the SGST of Haryana, Dilbag Singh, his name is, he called me and he said, sir, we are facing a very big challenge now. Earlier everything was done on adjustment in our department. He told openly. And that time non-professionals only were coming. Maybe 1 or 2 chartered accountants by mistake would have come once or twice. Otherwise nobody was coming, only advocates and retired departmental people were coming. Till then it was okay for our officers because they also didn't know, my officers also did not know. Now unfortunately chartered accountants are coming. I said, sir, for you unfortunate, for the fortunate. Fortunately for the country now chartered accountants are coming. Something is reading. Now he has one seminar or certificate course. He has learned something beyond. So he is saying, now I want my officers to know at least as much as they know. I said, not possible because your officers don't want to learn. We cannot train you because you are untrainable. This is what I told you. I said, you give me an assurance that they will sit and have an exam in the end. Insist on an exam in the end, all of them will sit whether they like it or not. Then I don't mind coming. I can't come for a session in the morning when you are there, the hall is 300 people are there. After you go, the hall becomes 100. After tea break, only 5 people are there. And they are not there because of anything else, because they are directly reporting to him. So he will ask, oh, very good. So our people have gone through 1 day training. But this is what I told him. One more thing is, today is a day of collaboration. I may be a general practitioner. Doesn't mean that I shouldn't take cooperative audit. I can go for cooperative audit, but I should have one specialist partner who is doing audit at least. He will also do cooperative audit. I may have one who is doing GST. I may not have all. I may have only general practitioners in audit and direct tax I might have. That is the 90% of us are like that. So why you cannot have a collaboration with somebody? For example, now GST audit is coming. Are you going to lose GST audit? You need not lose. But see that at least a certificate course person or a person who has more knowledge of GST, he helps you in completing that audit and helps to teach your people so that next year you can do the audit yourself. Collaborate. And you can collaborate. You have to share, that's all. If you say, sir, 50% of the fees I will give you, sir, please send me one qualified from your office. For me, it's very good. First, I am getting more work. I am also getting 50% of the fees. Are you going to give me next year also 50%? Sorry. You may say, sir, you can send him for finalization. And third year, if I call you, you will say, sir, now I am capable of sending some people if you require. Yeah. This is what is happening also, can be done. I am not talking about GST. GST comes to me because it's the easiest for me always. But it can be with anything. Keep client proper client focus on the clients. Many times we don't even know our clients. In fact, every time we think that our targets are not going to be met in my office, I ask them, do you know who our clients are and what they need? That's all. After 1 month of finding out that, automatically the workbook is full. Because you go back to the client, ask them, it will happen that way. Especially the pain areas. Technological upgradation, sometimes we are a little slow. Automation we don't take. We don't use Excel tools. We don't use tools available in the market. And in many areas, I think it can be done. Even as a branch or as a committee which is doing this type of programs, 5 or 6 of you get together, you can make some good tools for this cooperative audits also. Empower the staff to free yourself. Many of us say, "Arey sir, this is our staff, they are only interested in exam." How many of you agree? They are only interested in exam. Only one is agreeing. But all of you in your heart of heart are thinking, yeah, it's a question. Lazy fellows, they only want exam, leave, long leave, and then they will say, I'll come at 11 o'clock, go at 4 o'clock because they have to go for coaching class. But unless we empower our staff, articles and assistants, you cannot free yourself. And until you free yourself, you cannot do monitoring activity. Until you do monitoring activity, your quality cannot improve. If your quality cannot improve, you will be stuck in the lower income level only. Once you improve the quality, people come calling. One group in Gurgaon came to us in the starting, 10,000 crores. I said, no, we will not do work for you. Because they are not doing straight work. Now in 2 years later, the CFO called me and said, sir, now that GST has come, we have become compliant. So can you come and do our audit? Can you imagine? And the fee will not be less than 20-30 lakhs. I didn't go to them again. But it is happening. Now things are changing across. So I thought that these are the few thought processes I had as a broad process. I have not done any cooperative bank audit. I have only known that there is a lot of interference and even threat to life. So unless we start bucking ourselves up and putting on record, let us put everything on record. Whatever is said orally by somebody, say some politician comes and threatens you, say that so and so politician threatened us and I think their involvement in the bank is not a good thing. Write to Modi, write to him, write to the bank. Many of us think people will do something. What they will do, sir? They will not do. I have written against so many things. Commissioners, I write openly that 80%, 90% of them are corrupt. They themselves, even today I got a mail from some IRS officer from some place. He says, I would like to have direct contact with you. I have been reading your articles. And in my articles it all says this officers untrainable, this, that, everything I mentioned. So I would only like to end up by saying that have a powerful and respectable 2018. I'm sorry that I was supposed to come after the first speaker, but the circumstance beyond me because he is not there. Thank you very much for a very patient hearing. Hope it was not too much of a sermon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your insight on the opportunities and how chartered accountants can be awakened, make our skills and empowered in the cooperative audits. I thank on behalf of members and on behalf of Managing Committee of Bangalore Branch. I thank Madhukar sir for spending valuable time with us. Thank you, sir.